Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this one was sent in by Shetland Apache. So another guy from the tournament, and he's actually the one that came up with the rules. He runs a load of tournaments himself, and yeah, just brilliant community tournaments. So it's great that he's, he's taken part in the ever-chosen tournament. Very cool. So this is his Bretonian army, and he's against the vampire count. So you see he's got a ton of spearmen at arms, for the melee defense mostly, a load of chevrons in all of them though, a huge amount, and yeah, even then, still only like 36 melee defense, which is pretty pants. That's peasants for you. In the back line, he's got a few peasant mobs, basically just, you know, there to take the charge if anything gets in the back, so the peasant bowmen can survive a little bit longer, you know, until help arrives. So they're just there as meat shields, essentially. So fire arrows, always really useful against vampire counts. If there's anything like crypt horrors and Terrorgeist or Vargulfs, they're all weak to fire, so fire arrows are fantastic. He's also got some standard ones as well. He's got the Wardens of Le Mazontal Abbey back there, which is pretty cool. And here, he has some Grail Knights, he has a Paladin, and Ulbric de Bordelot. You don't often see Ulbric, so that's great to see. Also, over here we go. Nope. Yep, okay, Damsel of Life, but also, there they are. Questing Knights as well, so some good armor piercing there. So, pretty cool army. He's got the Grail Reliquary in the middle, just to make sure that stuff nearby is immune to psychology. He can't have the whole frontline terror routing. You know, that would be bad. Terror is not good. So, yeah, giving immune psychology, really useful. So his opponent, he's got a really cool army here. This is really interesting. He's got skeleton warriors for the most part, but he's also got a couple of grave guard in the middle to help punch through the middle. And, frankly, the skeleton warriors, they'll match up fine against peasants. They'll hold out a bit. I mean, their stats are a bit crap, but they can be healed up and things. Yeah, they'll do the job. Over here, you can see he's also got the Red Duke, so the Red Duke is going to be duking it out. That was unintentional. I know, I feel silly. Anyway, Blood Knights, 2 Blood Knights, and 2 more Blood Knights, and a Necromancer. So, yeah, plenty of scope for summoning zombies with, you know, 2 spellcasters. The Necromancer will be able to heal stuff nearby, but having 4 Blood Knights, he just really wants to overwhelm the cavalry here. It's very interesting. But it is literally an uphill battle for him to get to Shetland, so this could be rough. This could be rough indeed. So the front lines are starting to engage. We're going to see the peasant bowmen are going to start firing soon as everyone trudges up this hill. I mean, I don't really feel bad for them. They're all dead already, so, you know, I don't think, oh, poor dears, having to go up that hill. I don't think they really care. I think they're fine with it, honestly. Not that they have much of a choice. So, although neither do peasants, because, you know, peasants. Anyway. So, Graveguard taking some damage early on. It's not going to be a huge amount. They do have silver shields, I believe. Yep. So, they're not going to be taking a huge amount. But it's good to get some damage in early, because these guys with their anti-infantry will be able to kill peasants all day. So, it's nice to start on them early. So the Necromancer's charging in, and you see the Blood Knights are actually just going straight in. They're going for the Spearmen. I mean, these guys do have charge defense, I believe. Yep, they do. So, yeah, it's not great to charge them necessarily, but just because they are so much worse than the Blood Knights can tear through them pretty quickly, as you can see. And the Blood Knights take very little damage in return, because they have plenty of armor. So even that anti-large, there's just not much melee attack here. The anti-large bonus isn't huge, so they're not going to be able to do much damage in return. So he's almost punched a hole there. And Blood Knights now probing. Over here, you can see all the Grail Knights and Ulbric and the Paladin charged in, and they've basically taken out 2 units of Skeleton Warriors already. Now the Fire Archers are focusing down the Necromancer. Good to kill him early so he doesn't do things like this. That's right, summoning zombies to stop these guys from retreating. Peasant Mob are trying to hold in the gap, but obviously they're not going to last that long against Blood Knights. But if it gives the Grail Knights the charge, then it's well worth having them, you know, sacrifice their lives for the, you know, good of Bretonnia. Yeah, it sucks to be a peasant. Anyway, Necromancer taking a ton of damage, which is great news, because Necromancers, they're squishy, but they have a lot of utility. So here you can see 1 unit of Blood Knights is actually really suffering in this engagement, but 2 more are coming in, and there's another one a little bit more injured in here. So you can see yeah, this is going to be tough. So the cavalry has actually moved back around this side. So we've got the questing knights here, and the Grail Knights are waiting to see what happens. So we're going to see, I think, what are we seeing here? They're getting healed, are they? Was that intentional? That's a regrowth. I'm not sure that was totally intentional. I guess, I mean, they are fighting Blood Knights, but still. And they're also getting healed. That's not ideal. So Ulbric is here fighting, you know, fighting his best, but the Red Duke does outclass him slightly. I do love the thematic, you know, sort of, the thematic sort of build here. You know, it's Ulbric versus the Red Duke. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. So Cavalry is still just waiting. frankly, the peasants are winning here. You know, these men-at-arms are able to deal with skeleton warriors, spearmen able to deal with skeleton warriors. There's just not enough support here, you know, for the vampire count troops here. So, yeah, punching holes in now, which is really good. And I think the necromancer is crumbling, so he'll be dead in a second, which is good news for Bretonnia. So, pretty cool, but there's still a lot of Blood Knights. There's still 2 units there. There's still another very healthy unit in here. And where's the 4th one gone? I know there's another one somewhere. Hard to keep track of them. But anyway, as you can see, the Blood Knights, they're taking terrible amounts of damage. They're getting really hurt, but that unit of Ground Knights is out. And that is not good. Ground Knights being taken out, they are valuable units. And they're one of the main things stopping the Blood Knights from just, you know, running up and down the lines, killing everything. So that's not good. That is not good. Albric now is on his own. He is surrounded by zombie skeletons, which you wouldn't think would be too much of a problem, but the Red Duke's here fighting him too, and the Red Duke is an absolute nightmare. You know, Elseef can be cast on him, and Albric's melee defense is going to go down so low, even the zombies are going to get some hits in. So here we're going to see another Invocation in the Heck, which is very scary. You know, Blood Knights, you really want them dead. I mean, I know there's Law of Life on the other side, but it never gives models back. So, yeah, the questing knights are really starting to suffer here. These Grail Knights have chased off the last of these Blood Knights, so they'll be crumbling and they'll be dying soon, or re-dying, I suppose, you know, anyway. So the Grail Knights did come back, all 10 of them, so that's something at least. So trying to get some shock damage on the Blood Knights. And what's interesting here is it's very difficult to pull out in order to cycle charge, because you're going to get caught by something. You're either going to get chased by the cavalry as you're retreating, or zombies are going to be put in your place and you're going to get further chased, so no one can really afford to move. Which causes this ridiculous atrocious battle where it's just who can heal the most, which is pretty amazing. But luckily, with the necromancer gone, hopefully Bretonnia can weather the storm. So here, Albric, Elseef has been used on him, and that's going to hurt. Oh, that's worn off already. BC's taken a lot of damage. So is the Red Duke, though, because most of the healing has gone towards supporting the Blood Knights in this cavalry fight. Because, frankly, if the Grail Knights win that engagement, then the Red Duke's just going to get cycle charged to death. It's going to be very difficult for him to fight off the strength of the Grail Knights. So, load of arrows coming in here. The Paladin did run away, but he has come back. So, good on him. Good on him. He's got 10 kills so far. That doesn't seem like a lot, say he's been bogged down with zombies most of the time. But I guess it'll have to do. So, speaking of zombies, here are some more. There's some more zombies. Not ideal. But, look at this. You know, the front line is just constantly collapsing in. Those Graveguard have almost been taken care of. They're crumbling. And now he can move on to the next one that he is peppering with missiles. Unfortunately, the Wardens of La Maisontal are very injured. Only 3 of them remain. And Albric has broken, which that doesn't spell, you know, greatness. That's not ideal. But Cavalry are charging in. 1 unit of Blood Knights left. It looks like the other 2 managed to get finished off, which is pretty great. So really it's just the Red Duke and 1 unit of Blood Knights. Oh, nope, second one. There is a second one. But I don't like their chances. They're looking a bit haggard too. So if anyone can afford a heal, the Vampire Count's ready to cast one right now, because this is not looking great. Just completely surrounded. You know, still got the Damsel running in here. The Damsel, I mean, she's capable. She's capable. With support from all these elite cavalry, she'll get some extra damage in. So that's pretty cool. She's probably used most of her Winds of Magic already, so she can't do much else but charge in, so she may as well. More zombies being spawned, so I guess he couldn't afford to heal, but he could at least bog this stuff down a bit and let the Red Duke sort of, well, have some flak to take the hits for him, you know. That's all you need. Zombies are fantastic for that. You know, any time someone attacks a zombie instead of the target you're facing, that's a huge victory. That really helps you out. But unfortunately, balance of power is just shifted massively in the favour of Bretonnia, with the last of the Blood Knights being killed. So now there's just zombies left. So can the zombies pull this one out? I have faith in them. You see they're here trying to finish off the Paladin. It looks like they might get him, which is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive with the zombie. No, he's escaped. Oh, okay, never mind. So more zombies up here being finished off. Yep, Men-at-Arms charging in. And now Albric is valiantly riding out. He failed against the Red Duke, but maybe he can kill some zombies and regain some of that honour. And, you know, maybe get the favour of the lady once and for all. Because, yeah, he's not a Grail Knight, Albric. You know, he's a bit rubbish. Bless him. So anyway, Grail Knight's charging in, and that should be the last of the zombies. So, pretty cool. Pretty damn cool fight. This is very interesting to see. I think it was definitely a lot tougher for the Vampire Counts, having to run up this hill. Having a huge amount of cavalry like that was great, though. It was really interesting. I think he could have basically just charged a bit more into those lines and let the Grail Knights kind of tire themselves out on one side. Maybe just keep the Necromancer summoning zombies to slow them down as they try and advance down the line, and get the Blood Knights into the back. You know, shut down all of that supporting stuff, and then maybe you could get some surrounds on the infantry, shut down all the infantry, because honestly, I think it was the infantry that won this at the end of the day. There were just so many more bodies on the Bretonnian force, even summoning zombies constantly. There were just a load of peasants being used as sort of a cushion for the Grail Knights, which let them eventually win that fight. It's definitely tough though, definitely very tough, but yeah, definitely a fun one. So there you go, that's Shetland Apache. So basically what you get from this is he tends to use things that a lot of people don't often bring, which I think is really good. I mean, no one brings Alberic, but he gives it a shot. He actually sent me a ton of replays to look through, and this was probably the most sensible, honestly. The other ones are a bit one-sided, but also completely daft. He likes to have fun. So although he does have a brilliant rule set for use in tournaments and organizes all that stuff, you know, has a lot of respect for the game and the serious multiplayer community, you know, making sure that the tournaments are fought, you know, on the fairest possible rules, so, you know, skill really wins out in the end. It doesn't mean he doesn't like having fun. I've seen a ton of games from him where he's just bringing a load of Iron Drakes and, you know, char grilling greenskins and other nonsense. It's all very silly. He's willing to take risks on units that just aren't really, you know, in the meta, and I think that's great. You know, having the confidence just to be like, I'm going to do something silly, and he does, and I think that's great. You know, you don't have to be serious all the time. You can definitely have a lot of fun with Total War, and I think Shetland is definitely a good ambassador of that. So yeah, a lot of fun. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.